To Put It Bluntly, the show where the Canna-Curious go for straight talk on cannabis. On this podcast, new business owners join us in the BluntTank.
It's a cannabis gold rush out there, and lots of women are jumping in to become entrepreneurs. However, there are a lot of legalization issues that go with that, as well as just the, pain of starting a new business and standing out from the plethora of new products that are out there. So we started the BluntTank, and today we have in our BluntTank Tanganyika from Jayn Green, and she's brought with her some of her delightful, beautiful skincare products. And giving her sage advice and some truth in the BluntTank, we've brought with us a group of experts, including...
Hi, I'm Karyn Wagner, and I call myself the Chief Cultural Evangelist for my company, Paradigm Cannabis Group.
I'm Jazmin, Hupp, co-founder of Women Grow. We're the largest network for professional women in the cannabis industry with events in 45 cities.
Great. Well, we're just going to dive right into your table here, if you don't mind, and let's see what we've got.
Awesome.
Because I love to touch a good product.
Yes, ladies, please try.
So tell us a little bit more about it.
These are 100% all-natural skincare products, organic-based, animal and cruelty-free, and they're also cannabis infused with coconut oil. So yes.
Oh man, I'm gonna put this all over me.
Most salves are heavily medicated, and so what sets mine apart is the fact that not only do I have less THC in it, but I have an exotic scent that goes with it, and it's mainly 100% for skincare.
Okay.
And I see, this is for, it's hard to see, for men?
Yes, I'm one of the main companies in the cannabis industry that caters to a trend in the male industry. So we have cannabis beard balm and beard oil, and then we have the body butter and the hair and body oil for women.
I love that you're going after the hipsters.
I am. I am.
Good for the man bun?
Good for the man bun, good for scalp treatment, great for beard drift, great for itchiness and dryness, any bumps or cuts or any shaving cuts that they may have, it's great for that.
Do you use this when you
Hi, I'm Lisa Hansen. I'm from Plaid Cannabis Marketing. We're a marketing agency focused on the cannabis industry, and our core competencies are package design, branding, and integrated marketing.
Oil as well as multi-purpose, so it can be a couple of things, but it can be for when they're just starting to grow their beard, or if they have a really big beard and they've been growing it for years and years and years, it still gets underneath that skin and increases blood circulation, helps it grow thicker, stronger, and more vibrant.
I just have to ask you what it doesn't do.
It's
like I just want to eat it, I want to wear it, I want to do everything with it, right?
I really have great testimonials from people saying that they love my product, so that's what encourages me to keep going in spite of all the problems that an entrepreneur faces.
Yeah. What are the challenges that you have with this right now? Because it's a beautiful product.
Thank you. So, one of the things that I'm really noticing is that my customers want bigger jars, and so that's a problem in itself. And the fact that my labels are peeling, I need capital for manufacturer and distributor, and maybe to get some machines so that I can stop being in there for hours and really get out there and push the product the way I want to.
Are you hand mixing it right now and doing it yourself?
I'm doing everything myself.
Yeah.
I wish you had scratch and sniff packaging, because if someone could smell
I
what
want
it
you guys
smells
to smell it. I wish you could smell it.
Yeah, from a marketing standpoint, I'm fascinated, right?
Absolutely.
So, like, what's your point of difference? Who do you consider your biggest competition? And what are you doing to build your story to really break out from that clutter, such a cluttered environment?
Okay, so these products, our body butter especially, is for women who have, again, eczema, rosacea, psoriasis, but it's also great for alopecia. People are putting it on their scalp. Exactly. It can replace lotion. It's one of those things that can go hair and body. And so I separate myself because it has cannabis in it, and it's packed with vitamin A, vitamin E as well. And so vitamin E is great for those lines in your skin.
All right, give me some right now.
Those lines.
What happens if you put it on your eyes? We got real excited there.
Lipid production helps your skin stay softer and smoother, and so that's how I'm able to separate myself from others, just by making sure that I tell them that cannabis is in it, and tell them how beneficial it already is for the body, especially with the endocannabinoid system, but to put that on your skin. Many people don't even think that's an option, and when I explain that to them, they're so fascinated by it.
How much THC is in the product?
It's less than 5% THC.
Which means what to people who aren't familiar with
So,
THC?
so our THC, we have THC and CBD, or hemp-based products in it as well. And so our hemp is less than 3%. In different areas of the country that I have product in, their rule is less than 5% THC. So I was able to get in that market based on that, based on those results. So our THC is the psychoactive effect, but because it's not a lot in there, it's non-psychoactive. It doesn't cross into the bloodstream, so you will not, fail a urinalysis. I have parents purchasing it for their teenagers with acne, so it's 100% non-psychoactive.
Do you have any kind of tests that you've done, either in lab or anecdotally, about how the results work with acne and eczema?
Absolutely. I have testimonials. I have live video testimonials from people sending it and telling me they love. I have repeat customers, and I also have lab results. The problem is that I want to test every single batch, and because of money, because of capital, that's difficult. But I have had testing, yes.
I have a question for you, though, Lisa. Okay, it just occurs to me that maybe this does an awful lot. It's tackling a lot of problems. Do you see anything with that? Do you think that maybe she needs to narrow the focus a little bit about what benefits she's serving? Because I'm getting a little overwhelmed by eczema. The whole list of those things is pretty extensive.
Okay.
And then there's men, and then there's women, and the segmentation gets all muddy. Does that make sense to me, to you?
Nailed it. I mean, and Lex, exactly what you were saying. It's like, what's that niche? Is it an ingredient? Is it an ailment? Is it a category? Is it men that's really underserved? Find whatever that most open space is and own it as best as you can, and find those real credible points of difference, data-driven research, like you're saying, ingredient niche, like you're saying, and just make sure that you're finding that audience that's underserved and undercatered, which I think the men...
I think the men is a huge piece.
I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Just an idea that I would. So this is a point that Jazmin always speaks about, and I've learned very well in my own business. We kind of hammer it into ourselves. I have to say it daily. Do one thing really, really well. Just one thing, and then go on from there. If you do too many things at once, you're gonna spread your energy too thin.
You never get one thing off the ground in a big way, right?
So the beard thing, I think, is actually a really, really unique product. And, it may not be a huge seller, but it's very unique. And just something that popped in my head as we were kind of chatting about this is you have to sometimes go about your market in a different way, right? You can't, the bud tenders, they're not so interested in it. But if you were to go to, let's say 10, there's a lot of them now, male salons, right? Or male barbers, as the old-fashioned barber types that actually do shaves and things like that, and explain that this product exists so that you can send customers into the dispensary to be asking for the product and asking for the product by name.
I would like to address the packaging. What do you all feel about it? How are you feeling about it? You think it needs to stand out differently? What's the thought? And this is
all the packaging in the industry is pretty early, so you're not necessarily behind the curve. You're right within that curve. But typically, what I'm seeing, especially for a product as complicated as this, you're going to want to put it in a box so you can have an insert with it to really explain, to give those testimonials. You don't want to be making health claims on your packaging, but I'm curious whether testimonials, might be able to serve some of that influence with still sticking within the regulation. Obviously, we're going to go into new regulations over the next 2 years. So you're not going to want to do long runs of any of your packaging necessarily, because they're gonna throw stuff out of left field at you. Now we want this stamp on it. Now it can't be 2%. It's got to be 3%, or whatever might happen in the future. So my advice on packaging right now is to focus on your branding, simplify your branding, and then keep it as flexible as possible.
Well, to that point, I had a friend who did a skincare line for soaps and things like that, and she agonized and did all this really precious packaging, and she spent so much money trying to make it super natural, and then it didn't ship well. And so that, to your point, I think it's really smart not to invest too much in that packaging, but in a really good label. I mean, I think, something that clearly speaks, and the problem I'm having here, seriously, is that your differentiation isn't jumping out. What's jumping out is what the product is, which is great, but I don't really get a whole lot else off this label of what it does, and then I'm just because I'm me. And Karyn,
I
know
am
you're
right
with
here.
me.
I'm going the same thing.
What is the fine print?
What does it say?
I cannot even read that.
Make it bigger. Okay.
And not on
accessible.
black, not on black or brown
you
or
read
anything.
that?
Like, it's really hard to read. It's very hard to read.
Okay.
But because you remember, you've got to have it.
Social media, that's good. Because I wanted to talk about digital.
You know, you got to have it sit. You got to take it, and actually, you can go to a Whole Foods somewhere and just set it down next to it, all those other products, and see how it looks.
Okay.
And you'll see that it won't
If
stand
it's not
out.
popping,
Okay.
right?
You know, so that's what you really. You know, colors on black, not so good.
Okay.
White labeling or some other type of thing, and so that the colors will then really pop.
Okay.
Right for you.
We play that game a lot in the office. We
Yeah.
hold it up and we walk by. 3 seconds. That's all you get.
That's all you get.
But you
And if they
remember.
don't, yeah.
Or we literally Photoshop the package into a shelf shot with all the other competitors and really give it a hard
See
look.
how- okay.
Even at the
a
end
great idea.
game, like it's time to go to print. We put it on there one last check. Does it really stand out?
And what do you find most of the time that it's
There's
hard to
always
make?
room for improvement.
Yeah,
There's
I found
always
that
room
too.
for improvement,
It's
which is
really
why I think your
challenging.
point about being flexible is a good one.
Yeah.
Well, and then the regulations. I mean, we're seeing that in
Exactly.
Colorado and
Right.
Washington and Oregon, where like Jazmin said, new brand, new stamp, new regulations with regard to milligrams, things like that. So, yeah, packaging, keeping flexible is a really great suggestion on that.
And I think the other thing we try to recommend to our clients is if you can afford a more expensive, more unique package, something in a box where you can get that big billboard, do it. Throw everything but the kitchen sink that you can at first, because once you build some brand loyalty and some buyer loyalty, you can back off the packaging a little bit, but
Okay.
you never get that first shot again. That first impression means everything. So if you can really make an impression, really build that following, then at some point you can make it a little more cost effective or
Okay.
easier to merchandise and ship.
It feels like you have a blend between medical and nourishing, and I feel like it's almost like I'd lead with nourishing in my mind. I don't know how the group feels about this, but leading with the nourishing and then talking about what that nourishing can accomplish, as opposed to saying it's eczema or it's it's this, and this, and then suddenly I'm very confused again, right? So that one, it's super nourishing. It's been boosted maybe with the cannabis. Going maybe that route. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm riffing here.
No, I love it. I wonder if maybe there's no reason why you can't have the same product in two different packages, right? So you can have one that's more one size fits all. This is just great, nourishing, it's wonderful, it's for just moisturizing. And then here's the one that's really eczema specific. There's no reason why you can't have both. And I think people are looking for those particular ailments. If I'm buying it for acne and eczema, I'm probably going to look at it differently if it's just for that versus it's great for everyone. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know that it's built just for me.
Would you pay more though for that too, and do it in a smaller container if it was for eczema, right?
Absolutely.
So you think about that as opposed to a giant thing for eczema, which if it doesn't work for me that way, I'm going to be so miffed that I invested that much in it and then I'm going to toss it, right?
I think that there's a value to the size,
the
for
little
sure.
sizes, yeah. So you actually could get more bang out of for your buck for your product that way too.
Okay,
take down
so
proactive.
smaller than this one?
Well, that one, so this is where you have to decide, like, is this for the eczema? Then yeah,
Okay.
that's fine to me. Or even I love anything that looks kind of droppery. That's me, because it feels medical. It feels apothecary, right?
Okay.
Right. And then I think getting really clear about your product line that way is going to be very helpful to what you do next. And also I'd look at where am I selling the most right now, and I would ride that really
Okay.
hard, because you have limited budget, right?
Right.
And we're all budget conscious when we're entrepreneurs.
Right.
Yes, we are.
And so I have one more question for you, which is how do you feel about her putting her face out there? Because none of the marketing that I saw when we were looking at this a little bit has you featured a whole lot that I could see, like your story, your origin story, your raison d'etre for this. And so do you have any advice about that? Do you think it's good to have a name behind it and a face behind it, or no?
Oh, absolutely, especially when it's a beauty product, right? And especially when you have a story to tell, and you have a real
she's
story
beautiful.
to tell. And she's
I
beautiful.
know.
Say it.
Right, I know. So, yeah,
Yeah, so-
absolutely.
Okay.
People, I think, I keep saying, this has come up a lot in the last couple of days, is that it's a great time to be a marketer because consumers really care about their products. Not every consumer, but there is an increasingly large audience that really wants to know who's behind the product. They want full transparency, and that's a wonderful thing. You've done the hard part, which is make a really great product with really great ingredients. So now's your time to tell the story in a really compelling, unique way that sets yourself apart in a way that really engages people. And I think people do want to know it's worked for you, it's worked for other people. They want to hear it from them. They don't want to hear it from you.
Right.
So leveraging your testimonials, I think, is great. And that whole online story, where you're only going to have so much time and so much real estate here.
How many dispensaries are you in right now?
Currently, I was in 3, and then, but the problem that I found is that they don't know how to sell it.
No,
They do not know. They don't have a clue. Like I can go and I set up a meet and greet, and I can sell out. It's not a problem all day. But I give them instructions. I write down, what to say, selling points, and what makes it special, and it still can't sell.
And you're really limited to those dispensary environments because you have cannabis.
Exactly.
When you really belong in a Whole Foods or
wanna
somewhere more comparative.
Exactly.
Right?
I want to be where they sell natural skincare products everywhere, and I want to be able to ship. And so I'm thinking maybe dropping the THC portion of it, just do hemp only, and
well, that's a fairly crowded marketplace in the natural foods industry. Just hemp-based body lotions and body care. That's really crowded right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I would think that would be tougher to
Right.
break into than THC-based products, because the THC-based product kind of gives you that
The edge, right? That's
exactly.
exactly what I thought.
Exactly.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but the hemp-based, boy, you've got big brand names in the body care sections of Whole Foods and every health food store that have hemp-based products right now.
Absolutely.
So, I think that one's not so. But what? It
was
just
gonna
occurred to me. It just occurred to me an idea.
Got
An
an
idea.
idea.
I love ideas. I love it.
Hemp-based products, right? Okay, but CBD that's based from hemp is different, right?
It is different from whole plant.
Different.
Correct.
Well, no, different from different. Hemp CBD is different from hemp oil, right?
Correct.
Hemp oil is just the oil, but the CBD part of the hemp oil is the point of differentiation.
How does that help her?
Well, because it's different. It doesn't really help her in the Whole Foods. Well, it does. You can put it into the Whole Foods market if you focus on the CBD aspect of it, as opposed to the
Exactly.
hemp oil
Okay, I understand
aspect
what
of
you're
it.
saying.
So
Okay.
But getting into Whole Foods, isn't that like super hard?
It's not actually as hard as you think.
Anything is possible. That's right. Anything is
We don't have to
possible.
like have her chug up
Having
a
seen it.
hill like Sisyphus,
So
you know?
every Whole Foods has a local buyer, and so if you are local to that Whole Foods, and you can make a good case as a local product to be
Okay.
featured. It's probably going to take many demo days and and some campaigning on your part, but that might be an option down the road as you continue to look at because we just see topical after topical not being sold the way we'd like to sell topicals in a dispensary, because the majority of people there aren't there for a topical
Exactly.
oriented
That's what I was
reason.
going to say. I feel like I haven't seen much of any skincare or even that sort of area of a dispensary, but I feel like that's where we're going, because it's more of an experience. It's less about going in and making an exchange, making a purchase. I want someone to spend time with me. I want someone to really talk about what exactly I'm going through and give me several options, not just one or two buy next. We're finally starting to see some new sales channels emerge. I was talking with Sarah about the patches, and she's really pushing her product through these Tupperware parties. Okay. Kind of doing like what I call the Arbonne or the Avon Skin Lady. Connecting with women like us who I've been a brand ambassador ever since I can even remember. I mean, I remember being little. Have you tried this product? Everyone's got to try it. I think I was literally born a marketer. And so why not go after other women who are real brand ambassador types and to have those circles of friends who just, it's that word of mouth thing that I know in marketing, it's kind of overdone, but I feel like in this industry, it's actually a viable sales channel. Do you agree, Karyn?
I do, absolutely.
Rather than just going after distributors and dispensaries, because it's so challenging.
That's how I launched SexPot. It was on a one-to-one, women group kind of, Mary Jane kind of party. Yeah.
Is there any value in having her do distribution in the dispensaries that's more medical? So that side of it,
I think the dispensary sales channel is really hard to test in, because you have so little control over most of the factors. I think it's one thing to go yourself and set up a table, and so you have a lot of control over the messaging, and you kind of understand, okay, in Hayward my message is going great, but in Arcata they don't care about me or whatever. But I think it's hard to test stuff. I think the one thing I would test in dispensaries is a lot of display packaging. We haven't seen a lot of display packaging from brands yet, so folks aren't even thinking about how are the bottles going to be merchandised behind the counter, and that's an area where you can get some bigger space and you can get some visibility behind the counter. But remember, they're behind a counter. You know, it's not like designing a box. It's going to be right here. So it's a challenge.
And taking advantage of the online space, of course. You know, I know there's intricacies.
She's going to be limited in the online space with a THC product. I mean, because that's what we would use to do. Is like, let's do 6 Facebook ads. One says eczema, one says scarring, one says acne. And we could just make you 6 landing pages and we could just test which ones you get the most pre-orders for and be done. But we can't do that with Facebook's limitations on cannabis-related products right now.
How do you feel about trying to bump sales through some sort of, promotion around the holidays, things like that? Yeah, a must.
A must. And co-partner marketing. You know, what other brand?
Talk further about co-partnering, because I'm not.
Doubles your budget and doubles your reach is what we like to say. So if you can find a like-minded product that is either in a different area of the store or a different sales channel, something that just complements it well, could even be an event. Doesn't necessarily have to be in this industry. It could be something completely random that just makes sense.
Tell me great partnerships that go together, or have you seen any?
I'm often giving advice to bring mom home a topical on Thanksgiving, because we think that topicals are the easiest on-road for women into exploring cannabis and understanding if cannabis is right for their body. So I would find maybe a women's advice channel or a cannabis-related podcast where people are going home to their families and like get on there and be like, let's get mom on board. I got you.
Other topicals and other products that don't feel good, and this one feels good. And it smells beautiful. It's just gorgeous. So I was going to say, if we could leave you, because we don't have all day, obviously, and I'd love to write you a business plan, but hey, we can just give you some advice. How would you summarize the advice that you would give to Tangy?
Really define exactly what the product is and where, what channels you want to be able to put it in, right? So that's the first and foremost, right? Is it going to be a CBD hemp-based product that can ship and be on any store shelf, because it has no THC, or is it going to be a THC product? Okay, so that's, or are you going to have both and work on both? But remember, do one thing really, really well first, and then move on. So
prioritize and focus is our mantra lately. So do one thing well. We're very similar. And once you have that foundation, the messaging, positioning, you know how you're going to break out from the competition. You got all that dialed. Packaging. Okay. It's your single most, and when we talk about budget conscious, that is your marketing budget. Okay. That's it. So make it shine.
I would go after your customer hard right now, which is actually very different advice. So we are in this special 2-year period where things are a little gray area, and right now it's all about grabbing as large of an audience as possible, because how you sell it and exactly what this is can change a million times in the next 2 years. What I want to see is the largest possible audience that's addicted to you and what you do. And that's the land grab I would make right now, is big social media grab, big mailing list grab, big direct-to-patient sales grab, because at the end of this game, you want to be bought out. Right. I don't think you want to ride this wave for 20 years. So if you can build something now that Avon or Revlon, is going to want in 2 years, that's my play for you.
Well, I want to say thank you to the BluntTank. I hope you walked away with some really good advice.
I really did. I can't thank you ladies enough. Seriously, this has been life-changing. This has been business-changing, and I can't wait to show you guys what I come up with next.
Okay, great. All right. Well, now let us know.
I absolutely will.
All right, and so tune in next time for another BluntTank and more of the same. Thanks.